It's been a while. I don't know how long it's been. I should have checked before I did this, but hi, how are you guys? Time for a little update. I got my hair cut. I really like it. Much shorter for the spring and summer. Plus, you know, working out and stuff. So much easier. I hate it when it gets long and then it gets hard to manage and takes forever, more than 30 seconds to hold up the hair dryer. I hate that. So I'm really happy that I got my hair cut. And let's see, I got some updates going on. Actually quite a lot. Let's see. Health. Well, I have been struggling for years with premenopause, menopause. I don't even know at this juncture. I am 57 years old and I don't know what's been going on. My doctor, my OBGYN does not know what's been going on, which is kind of weird. But I was experiencing, I was on the birth control pill for 20 years and I just took it continuously, no breaks. So I didn't have any periods for 20 years and I was so happy. And then I had a coach and she was like, maybe you should get off it. It's not so good for you. I was like, I don't know why it's not good for you. There's no research that says that, but I did go off that and then I got my periods again and they were super, super, super heavy and impossible. I let that go on for 2 years and then I was tired of it. I was like, I'm going back on the pill. I went to Planned Parenthood and to go back on. And they recommended me going back to my OBGYN, which I hadn't seen for 2 years. So I went back to my OBGYN. She did a bunch, evaluations and tested for cancer. There's no cancer. She did an ultrasound, which was very uncomfortable, internal, and found a fibroid that had grown there forever, which was really annoying that they had never caught that sooner. So that was really annoying. And I was just kind of waiting it out to see if I would go into menopause because I was 55, 56. I was like, well, try this and then hopefully I'll just go into menopause. Well, that never happened. I never stopped having heavy periods and I got anemic 3 times over the last couple of years, 3 years, 2 to 3 years, something like that. Got anemic 3 times in the last 2 years. So, I have not been all that well in terms of energy because recovery and being able to be fit because I've been anemic and I just blame myself, of course, like, oh, I'm not fit. What is wrong with me? I should be fit. I work out so often and so it turns out that I was short on oxygenated blood cells. So I ended up getting intravenous ferritin, iron. One course was once for 1 week and then the next week. And then I got a recheck of my blood labs in a couple weeks later. And I was still anemic. So I got another IV ferritin iron course 1 week and then the next week. I also finally agreed that I would get a medical procedure called a uterine ablation. This is not fun information, but in case any of you ever have that to share with you, I finally agreed to get this procedure because a couple of years ago, my gynecologist mentioned hysterectomy. I was like, hysterectomy? They always do too many hysterectomies on women. Ever since I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, they said they always perform way too many hysterectomies on women. And so I was like, no. So I didn't want to do that. So I finally decided that I would agree to this uterine ablation procedure. And I really didn't know what it was, and my OBGYN didn't explain it all that great, actually. doctors think they know what they're talking about, and they think you know what they're talking about, but we don't. But they don't explain it very well. So anyway, I finally said yes to that, and it turned out, which I didn't even know, that my insurance last year didn't cover the hospital that my OBGYN does the procedure. I didn't even know that till the end of the year when I was changing insurance anyway. So thank goodness I found that out. So I changed insurance so that it would cover um, the hospital she works out of. I got that done. And then we went through the authorization process again because the last insurance turned it down because it was the wrong hospital. So the new insurance approved it. I finally, I was very scared, so I didn't schedule it for a month, and then I decided to go ahead and schedule it because I was having way too many problems. So I finally scheduled it, and then just in time because November and December, I think, and January, I had like two heavy periods in 1 month. So like two a month for at least 2 months, if not three. So it was horrible. And I was like, I had to pay for those IV iron treatments, which were almost $1,000 each out of my pocket because it's deductible. And so I might as well go for the procedure. The procedure too, I have a huge deductible because I'm self-employed, and in America we don't have national health coverage, so we have to pay out of our pocket for insurance plus any copay, co-insurance, deductible. So I'm self-employed. I have to pay for my whole insurance a month, which is really expensive. Plus I have a $6,000 deductible on top of that, plus copays, plus so starting a new month, new year, 2021, new insurance, new deductible. So I called ahead of time last year to find out about what would be out of my pocket. Fortunately, the hospital also has a financial assistance plan. So if you meet the qualifications, I turned in information on my income and stuff. I get a discount also. So that all ended up being better, but it's still really expensive. It's going to be really expensive. So anyway, it's going to take care of my entire deductible for the whole year. Hopefully, I won't have to see the doctor anymore. I hope. So anyway, I got all that figured out at the end of the year last year. I got my paperwork in for the financial assistance, and then I was terrified. We scheduled the appointment for February 9th of this year, and I was terrified of it because I decided to do it. Well, my OBGYN wanted to do it under anesthesia because I'm such a nervous patient anyway in the office. So I was relieved to hear that, but then I was super nervous about being under general anesthesia because I have friends that had a bad experience with it. So I was terrified, terrified for a couple weeks going into as the procedure was going to be ahead on the calendar. Terrified. I was so terrified. And then I got all these menopausal problems, we'll say, and I was super having big problems and with bleeding and overbleeding and being anemic and having to get IV right before the procedure, iron. And one day, just before the weekend before the procedure, or the week before, I had a terrible bleeding episode, and I woke up in the morning faint. I thought I'd have to go to the emergency room. I started getting everything ready in my house, um, so in case I had to leave for the day or a couple days to the hospital, I had to get everything prepared for Ginger and get the house organized. So if somebody had to come in, so I did all that, and then I ran to the store to get some feminine supplies, and then first I was faint, and then I drank orange juice, and that helped a lot. And then I started getting the house together and things ready. My pet care booklet together, writing out instructions, everything together for her and for me, and I drove to the store and I felt okay, functional. So I thought, well, we'll see, how it goes. I called doctors as soon as the doctor's office opened, and left a message for my OBGYN. I ended up calling my blood doctor people, and they were really helpful and gave me. I even called the ER before that to ask if I should come in or go to urgent care. And so I was prepared to go to the hospital because they have all my records with my blood labs and everything. But I started to feel better, but I was still kind of light. I felt pretty okay during the day as I drank a lot of liquids and um, I guess took it easy. I don't know. But in the afternoon, I started to feel really lightheaded. And then when I talked to my blood doctor, she said just take it easy and drink liquids, and we got the IV iron scheduled for Thursday that week to the next day. So thank goodness they were able to get me my iron sooner, and that helped a lot. I didn't feel so great the next day. This was a week before the procedure, or so. But by a couple days later, I was feeling a little better, but it was just terrible. So I was still terrified about the procedure. I had a pre-op appointment, supposedly with a nurse and my OBGYN. My OBGYN canceled, and I was really upset because I had almost gone to the emergency room that day or the day before. So when the pre-op nurse saw me, I cried. I was so terrified and upset, and she was really helpful. She explained the whole procedure, which I didn't even know what it was. So I got to ask all my questions that I had written out the night before. What are my questions for her? And I got to ask all those questions and find out. And then I felt a lot better about it, and it felt good to cry because I was so terrified. I held it all in though. So I felt better when I woke up on maybe that was a week before. That was a week before. I'm looking at my calendar. That was a week before the procedure. So I was still terrified that whole week leading up to the procedure about going under general anesthesia because I didn't know I was until I talked to the pre-op nurse. I thought it was just the propofol like Michael Jackson used to use, where you just go into a little sleep, like colonoscopies, but not really asleep. I thought they were going to use that, but no, it was general anesthesia. So then I was terrified again. So I was terrified, and then on the morning of the procedure, I woke up and I was still kind of nervous, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to change this nervous energy into excitement. It's the same sort of feeling. I had studied that before with sports psychology and performance anxiety, that same feeling can change to excitement. So I used that strategy in the morning when I woke up. I'm like, I'm going to be excited. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get healthy. So I wrote out my goals for the procedure in my journal to wake up quickly, recover quickly, feel great. And so I decided to be excited, and that helped so much. I had a positive mindset that day, and I would just started letting go of control because I want to make sure everything's this, that, and the other. But you can't when you're in a procedure. So it's like, well, I'll just trust in the procedure and trust in the care of the doctors and nurses, and I let go of a lot of my control issues, and so that went so much better. It ended up being pushed up different things. My friend who was driving me scheduled, and the procedure itself was later, but I just hung out, and eventually I got in there and it was really fine. The nurses were so helpful, and at the outpatient surgery clinic, and it was just in the hospital. They were great, and um, so I went under, and then I was dreaming. I was sleeping at home. I woke up like bam, and I was in the hospital, and I was awake. And the nurses were. I'm like, oh, I'm awake. That's what I said. I was super happy because I woke up really fast. Like great. And then I was shortly able to be discharged and come home, and I felt okay. And I took Ginger for a walk, and I was surprised, but I think they gave you pain medicine during the procedure, so I think I was still under the influence of that. Because I was able to walk her. Took it real easy, walking her to the park, walking home. And the next day was uncomfortable, cramping. They said I could take ibuprofen again because I couldn't for a week or 2 weeks before the procedure. And so I took that. And then I had some discomfort with going urinating, and that got worse over the next couple days. And then I just like was really painful, and I had to urinate all the time. I thought I had a bladder infection, so I went. Started snowing. I went to urgent care. I saw a doctor there. They were really great. They gave me a prescription for an antibiotic. And a week later, it came back that the urine sample didn't show a culture for a bladder infection, but I'm pretty sure it was. And they said I could stop the antibiotic, but it was already 5 days into it. So I decided just to finish the 7 days. So you don't want to stop early an antibiotic just in case. So I decided to keep that going, even though it hurt my tummy. But I'm glad I did, because who knows what kind of infection you can get, you know? Plus, I think I did have a bladder infection. So the good thing was I woke up right away, and that was really great. I got the procedure done. I was super relieved. But the bummer was I was really uncomfortable, sort of, the next week. And then the week after, I finished the antibiotic, which was good, but I was still recovering from the operation, and I wanted to be just healed up. I thought I would just be healed and done, but no, my body was still recovering. The week after, I was super exhausted. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And then I was upset because it was so tired. I was wanting to be energetic and ready to take on life again after all this time. But I was super tired. And then I started getting depressed because I was tired and I was still recovering and I wanted to be done. Well, the good news is this week, okay, so it'll be 3 weeks this Tuesday. So it's still less than 3 weeks later. So the last few days I've been feeling much better. I think I'm much more recovered, it seems. The bladder issues are much better. I think my recovery is almost done. I started having more energy a couple days ago. So hopefully I'm getting through this recovery process. I Googled it a week ago or last week, and it said you should expect 3 weeks recovery. They told me 2. So 3 weeks is, I guess, more reasonable. So hopefully by this Tuesday, it'll be 3 weeks. Today is Sunday, so it's only 2 days. So I had a DNC where they scrape out your uterus, I guess. They took samples. She took samples of the tissue in there. It came back. Everything's fine, which is great news. They did the ablation, uterine ablation, which is where I guess they put in a balloon and then fill it up with hot water so it cauterizes the uterine tissues lining so there's no more bleeding. So hopefully there won't be any more bleeding and no more anemia. I also have hormones and stuff. I should be in menopause, they said. So everything should be okay. I do think I still have fibroids in there. So my OBGYN will follow that. So anyway, I'm really hoping that I feel energetic and I'm recovered and I can start living life again. So the other good news is that on tomorrow I get my first COVID vaccine shot. So I'm super excited about that. And that made me think a couple days ago, like, oh my God, if I get my 2 shots, I can start like living in less fear. This has been a year of fear with the coronavirus. I do not want to get sick. I hate getting sick. I'm terrible at getting sick. And I've been in fear all year, as we all have. And I was like, oh my God, to not have to live in fear. And it's starting to process like, oh my gosh, what will I do when I can start like going out again more and being less afraid? Seeing family members that also have their vaccine, starting to see my clients at work face to face. If I have my vaccine and they have their vaccine, I can start seeing people again rather than doing by telephone work and maybe wearing our masks and sanitizing and everything. Still using precautions, but and then like taking trips or, you know, being very careful, because I think it's still important not to be flying around the world or taking trips, because coronavirus is still there, the variants are there, everything is shifting all the time. So it's not like the risk is less with the coronavirus, but to not have to worry about getting really ill and the people I love or the people I care about not getting ill. I have a friend that's older than me and legally blind, and she's been at home this whole year, and she's really looking forward to getting out and walking with me and Ginger again with her doggy. And so it's like, wow, seeing friends again that are vaccinated too, and being able to get out with them more. So it's really something to think about. And I also want to visualize more about me back in the world, because with these health issues that I've had, I haven't been able to engage as much in myself or the world. And I've kind of gotten, comfortable with taking things kind of easy. So I keep working out, but I don't know, giving myself a pass on some aspects, because I just wasn't capable, and I'm glad I didn't push myself over the edge, because I have in the past, and it doesn't help. If you don't have oxygen in your blood cells, you just can't beat that. I mean, I can't over exercise oxygen into my blood cells. Like it had to come from reoxygenating, getting my blood cells back, getting my iron back. I mean, there's nothing that can be done except those kind of things. So now I want to start working on revisualizing myself and my life and fitness and re-engaging. It's going to be a little journey and a lot of journaling going on. So that's good. So the good news is I think I'm on the, downwards, like it was the upward hill after this procedure and everything. And I think I'm back on the downward hill toward recovering and back on the upward hill into life. So that's really exciting. I've been still running with my running coach, doing my CrossFit workouts and walks, trying runs, but I haven't been feeling all that great. Beating myself up about, but this yesterday, Saturday, is my run day outside with Ginger, and I was able to go super, super slow because I killed my quads in my CrossFit workout on Friday with front squats and back squats. Front squats are horrible. I hate them, and they kill my quads. So I'm torn up. I can't get up today. I can't walk well, and I couldn't yesterday either, but I just did a little slow run, like really slow, which I'm really good at slow. And I figured, a little air and movement of my legs is good for recovery. It didn't really help recovery, but you know what? I found out that the running slow does not hit the same muscles as the quad workout. So I was able to go really slow, and I was able to do 2 whole miles, which I haven't done for weeks and weeks. So I'm super excited about that. I think I was on here last time I did a great, amazing workout. And then right after that, I started having a lot more health problems again. So I haven't been able to do that. So this is incredible. So I'm super excited and looking forward to more accomplishments. And so that's the update. It's very exciting, a little nerve-wracking, re-engaging my identity again, and stuff like that. So I'll keep working on that. And a little update for Ginger. Ginger had a setback too, a health setback. Was it last month? The month before? I don't know. This is March. No, this is February 28th, the last day of February 2021. And I don't know if it was February. Yeah, the very beginning of February. I think Ginger had a health relapse in her seizures. I'd started her on anesthesia medication, even though I didn't want to, but she was having seizures. So I started her, and then she was doing really well for a couple of weeks, a few weeks, and then she started having seizures again. I had to run her to the emergency room up in north, out of my city, and a neurologist saw her there for the first time. She never saw a neurologist before. And they recommended a change in medication. So we changed her medication, and knock on wood, she's doing super good. And she had a recheck up there, and she's staying on this new medication. And so she's been really happy and fun and spunky again. And so that's been exciting. We've both been, she's been more active too. So she's losing a little weight again, I think. So I've got to feed her more again. I fed her when I got her. I accidentally underfed her for all our activity. She lost a lot of weight, so I had to put her on a bodybuilding diet, feed her every few hours, get her weight back up. She has tummy problems, so I couldn't give her a lot at once. I have to give her a little bit, like bodybuilding, and got her weight way up. And she was really chunky, so I started like limiting the amount, but now she's getting skinnier again, so I gotta give her more. She still gets to eat every few hours. She likes that, but I can't give her too much or she has tummy problems. So I'm working on that. Hopefully she's okay. And so with her being better and me being better, we should have a great, exciting spring and summer. So I'm really excited about that. And my vision is being energetic, having a lot of energy, being very active and fit and healthy, and us having lots of fun. So that's the plan. I think we're headed there. I hope you guys are well, and I will let you know how our journey goes. Okay, bye.